Hi everybody, I hope everybody's having a good day today. I came here to go ahead and speak with you a little bit about my Uncle Bobby. I don't actually cry too often, but as most of you may not know, I've had some disappointments in my life and some losses, and I've often been told that I do have tough skin. One loss that many of you guys don't know about is the loss of my Uncle Bobby, my great Uncle Bobby. It affected me very deeply and has still affected me to this day. Some of you actually knew my Uncle Bobby personally, and others weren't even born yet when he passed away. Therefore, you only have stories and memories, images of what you think that the person that he may have been. As a small girl, he always made me happy when I went to his house. He always made me smile and laugh. He was a very giving and caring person to me when I was young, and so that's why I'd like to pay tribute to him today. I put together a few memories from some of my family members and a story from myself to share with you about his childhood, about where he grew up, how he grew up, who he was as an adult, and I hope that sharing them with you will let you know how much he meant to me as a person. He was actually born in the early 50s, and he was born to Jose Cisneros and Dorita Martinez.
Ooh,
he was actually born on a farm in San Antonio, Colorado. And he had 5 brothers and 2 sisters, all of which lived in the same household with him, to include 2 other cousins who lived in the household with him. So it was a very, very, diverse house with a lot of kids growing up. Everybody was very close, tight-knit. They moved from San Antonio actually to Denver first in 1951, and then again to Colorado Springs later on in the 50s, where they bought a house and where they stayed until my great-grandparents, his parents, his mom and dad, Dorita and Jose, actually passed away in the 90s. As growing up as a young boy, the story that my grandfather told me, or some memories that he had, was that he was always a mama's boy. He rarely got spankings or anything else when all the other kids did. He was always shy and quiet, and he stood right behind his mom the whole time. But he was always very kind and soft-spoken and everything like that. As he grew up, he remained living with his parents in the household, the same household. He grew up in Colorado Springs. He remained a mama's boy. He actually never, ever drove or married or had kids or anything like that. He stood by his mom, true to being a mama's boy until the day that he passed away, or she passed away. Some of the hobbies that he liked were to play bingo. He was actually introduced to that hobby through his mother and father when they were still alive. He'd take the bus down every day to the bingo hall and play bingo. And he was still very quiet and shy all through his adult days. A story that my mother told me about my Uncle Bobby was that at the time, the 70s, that music was coming out, cassette tapes were coming out, and he was very, very bad at recording. However, he did, and he gave them as a gift to my mother all the time. As bad as they were, she still was very grateful that he gave them to her. Just goes to show his kindness and the kind of guy that he was. My younger sister, who's also his great niece, went over to his house one day, and he was having a yard sale, and everything had, 25 cents, 50 cents on it, and she went shopping around and didn't have any money, of course, and he still gave her the items as though, she was, just once again reiterating how kind he was and, how he made everybody smile and have a good time. My story about my Uncle Bobby is that he actually had diabetes, and that's not the story, but he had diabetes so bad that he couldn't have anything with sugar, no sweets, and he always, every time I went over there, every time I went over there, he had a stash of candy underneath his bed. And every single time I would go over there, he would have me crawl under his bed to go and get the candy on the sneaks for him, because he couldn't have it, and everybody knew that. Anybody who went to see him would always tell him, no sugar, no sugar. So it always, now that I think of it, now that I'm older, it always touches my heart, and just goes to show how happy he was, and funny guy. So I've shared with all of you guys some stories and some memories about my Uncle Bobby. I've talked to you a little bit about his childhood, how he grew up, a little bit about his adulthood and his hobbies, and a little bit about his life and what he meant to me. I've shared some stories from people who cared about him, and hopefully it's helped you guys realize that not only did he care about his family members, but also how much his family members cared about him. He was a kind, simple man, and he touched everybody's life, and I'll always remember him. And I know that you guys will only have stories of him, but hopefully you'll remember him as one of your family members who was great. The loss of him was very difficult for me. It was a difficult time, a time of understanding and a gaining of new appreciation for life. And so that's why I wanted to pay tribute to my Uncle Bobby today, and I wanted to thank him for being a part of my journey. I want to thank you all for listening through my speech about my Uncle Bobby, and that's all. Thank you.